But if it is the ending, then I think Indy's destroyed. And welcome back to the Sundowners Club. I'm your host, Sean, and today we're going to be talking about our reaction to the recent teaser for Indiana Jones 5 with the title, The Dial of Destiny. That might be the worst title for any action adventure movie I've heard in a while. And it hurts, being as that I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. But we're going to be covering it, our reaction, and we're also going to be talking about how accurate do we believe the potential leaks and spoilers were and are that came out about Indiana Jones 5, and then James Mangold's, the director's comments about those supposed leaks and trying to do some damage control. Before we get into that, if you like what you see and you hear today, leave a comment below, hit the like button, and most importantly, hit subscribe to the channel so that we can grow our content. I'm your host, Sean. To my right, my co-host, Sterling. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. So, well, I would say I'm good, but being as if you look at my table, I'm between my Holy Grail from The Last Crusade, my Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I grew up a huge Indiana Jones fan. I don't think you could find three better movies in a trilogy. There are some that I would put up there with the Indiana Jones original trilogy, but none that I would say are infinitely better.
Are you leaving out Crystal Skull?
I didn't hate Crystal Skull. I didn't overly like it,
Right.
but I do separate it from the trilogy. Look, I'm an easy sell for Indiana Jones, and there are a lot of fans I think that are like that as well, where it's not hard to please fans that have grown up with it. I mean, it's not a difficult task. But that being said, we had a video come out, and there's been a lot of stuff talked about online on the various social media fronts, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook and different shows, articles around some leaks that have come out that have been covered by various sources that have said the same thing about the Indiana Jones 5 story, the plot. And in essence, and for those that don't want to know anything about the plot of the show, stop this video right now because we're going to talk about what the supposed leak is. I won't go into great detail, but we're going to talk about it. So take a second or two and hit the stop button if you don't want to hear the leaks, because here we go. So the supposed leak, I think the original was put out by Doomcock on YouTube, and then 4chan and the Daily Mail. There were several sites that reported these leaks. It was based on a supposed test screening, and we use those words test screening loosely, but the film was shown in some capacity to a group of people. We'll leave it at that. And the leaks supposedly said that the movie starts where Indiana Jones is brought back into the fold. Marion shows up, tells him that he needs to get out there and don that fedora one last time. And so Indy ends up finding the offspring of Marcus Brody, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I've enjoyed in her other work. I didn't enjoy her in the movie Solo, but I don't blame her for that. And she is Helena Brody. And so they end up finding this device that's like, in essence, a clock that imparts time travel. And according to the leaks, they end up initially in ancient Rome, and then they go back to the year 1933, and we see a young Indy, according to the leaks. And Nazis are trying to get their hands on the device so that they can rewrite history. Indy has to stop them from doing that. And so you have a young Indy and an old Indy and Helena Brody. And at the end of the movie, supposedly, the young Indy character sacrifices himself to save Helena, and as he's doing so, he dies. And being that it's the young Indy from 1933, it causes a la time travel plot device, a la Back to the Future, where you see Marty McFly and the kids' photos disappearing. You see the old Indy disappear, fade away, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge dons the fedora and ends up going back into all the famous scenes from the prior movies and takes Indy's place and those scenes to be able to do the things that he needed to do so that she could protect history, and the movie ends. So that's the leaks that have come out, and I think all of us would take that with a huge grain of salt because it seems so ridiculous that There's no way that could be possible,
Seems
right?
exactly like what Disney would do right now. That seems so predictable.
If not for the movies that we've seen,
Yeah, right.
Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, some of the Marvel content, not all of it, but most everything that's come out from Lucasfilm since 2014 and or 2012 in the Disney purchase, including Willow, which was hot garbage. So you take that with a grain of salt, and some of these people that have leaked this information have gotten a lot of criticism. So James Mangold, the director, which I don't know why he would come out and comment on this type of stuff unless he's very worried that they're onto something.
He denied it. He
denied it and said
no test screenings have ever
said no test screenings happened. This is what he said. No test screenings occurred.
No one would replace Indy.
No one's replacing Indy, and these people are trolls. So that was the first thing he said. Well, then we got the teaser. So in the teaser, you would think that Lucasfilm would take this opportunity, even in a teaser, to say, we're going to really expose these idiots out there that have come up with this, concocted story, none of which is true. And then you see the teaser. And in the teaser, we see an Indy in 1969, which was laid out in the leaks.
Yeah, they said they de-aged him, which was
we see a de-aged Indy in the teaser.
Right.
We see Helena and a little bit of her combativeness, not much, but with Indy, and you see the old Indy, and then there's a scene of Indy that was from Last Crusade where he's in the castle where they pull the cloth cover off of his face. You see a de-aged Indy, but there's another scene in the trailer, and we'll put that shot up of Indy inside a train, and that's a de-aged Indy, and that hasn't been in a movie before. There is a shot that has not been in the prior movies, and that tells me that the de-aged Indy, the young Indy, the old Indy, and Helena is true. And we see the plot device. There's another scene where there's a front of a cockpit of a plane, but it looks like they're going through a wormhole.
All right.
And so nothing in the teaser
debunks those.
No, nothing debunks what we've heard in the leaks. And you would think that they would take that opportunity to put that to rest because there's so much distrust right now. And none of that was debunked in the teaser. And so, obviously, Mangold comes back out. Somebody on Twitter with like 2 retweets sends a message to him and says, hey, I'm excited to see the Indy 5 movie, but I've heard about these leaks, and I think references Doomcock or someone. And Mangold responds and says, not true, and, but basically speaks in code. Doesn't say that any of the specific details are not true, right? So, to me, I want to believe in Mangold. I like a lot of his other work. I want to believe that they're not going to do this to Indiana Jones. But 2 things I'll say. One, everything they've done leading up to this would make me distrust them. And then you add the teaser, which does nothing to debunk it. And then the news came out this week that there is a Disney series, an Indiana Jones Disney Plus series coming out after this movie. So Harrison Ford is not in that series. So who is the Indiana Jones series going to be based on? Add all those things together. Lucasfilm has a lot of work to do to get people.
I hope they are true.
Why do you hope there are true? So that enough people to get fired and really start things over?
So they can really clean house.
But
at this point, I just want to watch them burn. I don't care anymore.
Well, I don't want to watch them burn, but but look, I'm not. How you and I have talked about this. I don't begrudge anybody for being super excited for the Indy movie. No. I mean, there's no bigger Indiana Jones fan than me. I don't begrudge anybody for being excited and going and seeing it no matter what. I don't begrudge people who say, look, I don't believe any of this. They're doing the right things. I want more activism in these films and in these series. And I don't begrudge people who say, I can't stand it. I don't want to see anything else from them. And I'm not coming back to it until their wholesale chat. Everybody has an opinion. They're entitled to it. That's why we're all here.
Right.
So, I don't begrudge anybody for that. I think that the rumors are out there that Kathy Kennedy is going to be gone. So whether she's gone before Indy, I still find it hard to believe that there's going to be an official announcement that she's out before Indy 5 is released in June. But, she's, based on everything we're hearing, she's out. So for them to burn it down and hire a bunch of new people to come in, I think the danger with letting this film come out, if this ending is the ending, and again, that's speculation, but if it is the ending, then I think Indy's destroyed. I think that with Harrison being 80 years old, and if this ends up being 2 movies in a row after Crystal Skull and then this one, which would be worse than Crystal Skull, one, they're going to lose money. That's the first thing we haven't talked about.
Can join Star Wars and Willow.
Well, but in contrast to Willow, similar to Star Wars, but there have been multiple reshoots in this movie, and you're talking about over $200+ million just on production. Then you add in a couple $100 million in marketing, and then you take half of every dollar from the distributors for this movie. You've got to make, just like we just saw with Black Panther 2, you've got to make $750, $800 to not lose money, not just not make money, but not lose money. So we could be in a situation where no matter who they bring in, at least this IP is destroyed. You could do things to Star Wars is such a big universe that you could do things to bring Star Wars back with some creativity and the right people in charge. This IP that's specifically centered around the lore of Indiana Jones, they're toast. If this movie comes out and it has that ending, that's it. They might as well pack that in and move on to something else. And
it wouldn't surprise me though, at all.
We'll see what happens between the announcement of the Disney Plus series and the trailer that came out. We wanted to comment on it. Any final thoughts? I mean, did watching the teaser trailer, did you just say, "Yep, that's everything that we've heard from the leaks," and you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, I text you. I was like, that seems like there's some truth to those leaks.
When I saw the trailer had hit before I watched it, the first thing I thought was, please let this be completely different than what the leaks were. That's what I wanted to see. Like, let me see something that makes me feel like this is not true. None of it's true. And then after the teaser, I see the title, The Dial of Destiny. Yeah. I thought, they don't even have the title right. Like, what an awful title. So at the end of the day, it's if you're going to watch Indy 5, it may end up being like Percy Jackson and the Olympians or the Battle of the Sea Monsters. I don't know. But we'll be here to cover it. Hopefully, as more information comes out, I would love to see that this information has been proven wrong. Nobody would be happier than me, but I don't have any faith that that's going to be the case. If you like what you heard today and what you saw, hit the like button, leave a comment, and most importantly, hit subscribe so that we can grow our channel and TCB.